Hello, I'm glad you're still with us here on MorningAtNTV, and it's the Kickstarter segment, and we're going to be talking about improving Uganda's global innovation ranking. I have two very interesting guests who will be helping us understand where are we when it comes to innovativeness, first as individuals, communities, but also as a country. The last time I saw something about innovation, the nations that were thriving were far ahead of Uganda, but I understand we've been going through some really significant shifts, first in mindset but also paradigms, and we are now positioned to be able to take on the world in as far as tech and any other aspects of innovation are concerned. But innovation is the driving force behind societal evolution, propelling nations forward, providing solutions to problems, creating economic prosperity, and enhancing people's quality of life. The global enthusiasm for innovation has set the stage for a compelling competition for excellence. Countries are vying to outdo one another, as individuals do, not just in terms of technological breakthroughs, but also in fostering inclusive growth, sustainable development, and social well-being. However, Uganda was ranked a distant 121st of the 132 countries based on 5 input areas that have been named as institutions, infrastructure, human capital and research, market sophistication, business, as well as 2 output areas, knowledge and technology outputs, along with creatives. But when you hear innovation and creativity, I'm sure you've been part of boardroom meetings and conferences that border on transforming organizations, and the questions are asked: can we be more creative in how we do our work? Come up with ideas that are creative, and you see people thinking and stretching their mind from east to west, south to north, in order to come up with those ideas that are going to transform the workplace and of course enhance productivity. This conversation is amazing, and I'm joined by 2 very good and interesting guests. Jane Amuge Okello, she is the Operations Director at the Uhuru Institute for Social Development, as well as Daniel Bukenya, Managing Director at Goldstone Consulting. Let me begin with the lady. You're most welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Innovation alone cannot be exhausted if you want to talk about it, but within the context of Uganda and the push from various sectors to be able to realize some of the technological breakthroughs, rather social transformations, there's a lot that is going on. Can you share in as far as the Institute's work is concerned?
Thank you once again. Good morning, listeners and viewers. The innovation discussion today is very pertinent to us as Ugandans, to cooperatives as the engines for Uganda's development, but also to us at family level. You know, these things start
family level, yeah.
Exactly. You know, you can have conversation that is national before you start inculcating certain conversations and certain cultures right from your homes. So the Uhuru Institute, together with its partners, Goldstone Consulting, NTV, Bank of Uganda, Busara Center for Behavioral Economics, Liberty Life Assurance, we thought that looking at where Uganda is ranked, as you already have mentioned, at 121 out of 132, there is no magic the country is going to make if the farmers who wake up every day to feed this nation, to provide employment, and to create in their different ways are left out of this conversation. As you're already aware, the bulk of Ugandans are employed in the agribusiness sector. That's right. And agribusiness here, we are not talking of only farm activity. We are talking of manufacturing, we're talking of industry that feeds off the agribusiness sector. We're talking of banking and all this. And so cooperatives, by nature, are social enterprises that are inclusive, and that naturally also mobilize resources. That is human resource, financial resource, that therefore makes it a very important vehicle for delivering this innovation that we are talking about at national level. So together with those partners that I've mentioned, we feel that cooperatives need to start not only the conversation, but to show evidence for what is happening on ground.
That's right.
So the Innovations Award, the COP 360 Innovations Award, is the first of its kind in Uganda. And when we started going out, we thought, one, we needed first to document. Sometimes you ask people about cooperatives, and the first thing they'll tell you is, you mean there are more cooperatives than Giso Cooperative Union? And so we sector players have been saying, there's a lot that's happening in the sector. Nobody's documenting this, and no one is also recognizing this in the manner that it ought to be.
That's right.
So through the Innovations Award, we went to identify, to document, to recognize. And in this recognition, we feel that cooperatives will get inspired to even be more creative, to be innovative, and contribute to the bigger pie.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. Of course, I omitted deliberately the aspect of the COP 360, that is the award supposed to recognize those that are innovating within the corporate space. But that was because I needed first and foremost to ensure that we are home when it comes to the general outlook of Innovation. Mr. Bukenya, Goldstone Consulting is a key partner in this particular endeavor. Talking about your push to this, but also take us through the world of innovation, especially within the thrust of agriculture, where the corporates lie.
Yeah, the relationship with the Uhuru Institute started about 3 years ago, and so far we've worked with them on about 28 cooperatives in terms of business development and support services. Quite a number of them are within the ag space, and others are within the financial services provision space. And we picked it out because we want to be part of the impact story of the Uhuru Institute. That's why we got into partnership. Now, after providing business development services, we found that a number of these cooperatives are working within their space, and they're not showing as much resilience as they should in terms of looking into the future.
That's right. And
we realize that innovation, driving the innovation thinking or design thinking, is important for them to be able to increase, member value, to increase output, to increase revenue, and be able to also grow the way they should. So that's why we came up with the working with them on the Innovation Award. And on the front of the ag space, Goldstone is passionate about agriculture, agriculture, renewable energy, water, sanitation and health, as well as education. So Uhuru Institute and its ethos, what it stands for, fitted very well in what we look out to engage in. And that is why we've worked with them hand in glove for the last 3 years, and looking forward to working with them in the years to come. And then when it comes to the Innovation Award, this is not just an event, this is not just a transaction. We are looking at ourselves going deeper to be able to impact the cooperative space as we proceed into the next 5-10 years. And we hope that this Innovation Award is going to be annual in nature, so that we bring in more and more cooperatives, give them inspiration to be able to innovate, to think into the future about their cooperatives. And I strongly believe that what prophecy is to Christians, innovation is to business. So for us to be able to look into the future as cooperatives or as businesses, we need to go on the line of innovation. The Western world or the global North has beaten us at it. You have the Elon Musks, one man, holding quite a lot of sway, the Zuckerbergs and the like. And for us, typically as Ugandans, when we think about innovation, we tend to think about technology and all that. And yet we can be able to innovate using what we have, as it were, with Moses' staff.
All right, that's an interesting analogy there. Let me return to Madam Okello. In agriculture across the country, when you want to pinpoint aspects of innovation and creativity in the conduct of agricultural business, it is a painful, endeavor. Apart from the subsistence means, there is very little that is going on, and some of them, or those that are involved, will quickly tell you capacity. I do not know how best the collaboration among the various sector players, of course with the government's eagle eye, is working. Are you pushing specific aspects that government is also looking like it's going to support, because we already have trouble convincing government to come clean, or rather come through on budget allocations to the agriculture sector?
So I want to recognize that effort at the especially cooperative agribusiness level is not, we've not identified, or we've not seen very deliberate investment by government on innovative practices. Yes, government is putting money to support different agribusiness initiatives, but particularly innovation has been weak. And so we want, though, to recognize that as we went through the Innovation Award, we noted that the cooperatives that applied for this initiative have been able to pull their own resources, which was very satisfying, because it resonates with the value of self-help and self-responsibility, which are very key to cooperatives. So we are yet to see how government intends to stimulate innovation at that level, at the cooperative farming level. We are yet to see that. And so I would think that even if government wanted to do something, we in the cooperative sector, the cooperatives themselves must show cause.
That's right.
It's easy to be found on a route that is, that is promising for someone to help you and for that help to make sense.
Okay.
So while we haven't seen that level of investment by government, we still think that we can start from home.
All right.
The cooperatives themselves need to get ready, mobilize, so that when money comes, that money needs to go to things like research, which is very critical for any innovation. There is no way we can have innovation when research and development is not financed, because remember, this is not something you sell. Research oftentimes, a lot of money. Just think about what's going on the global stage at the moment. Just look at the money that, for instance, Elon Musk is investing in flying, it's a lot of money. Now, unless you have that money already, it becomes very difficult for you to plow back, especially when it comes to research investment. So we see government becoming there, but not only that, we see government creating an enabling environment. We can't talk about investment in innovation when the environment sort of looks the way it is. And what do I mean by that? We need to have systems and structures that do not frustrate you, who is creating and who is innovating.
Sure.
We are talking of infrastructure for cooperatives. We are talking of affordable credit services. Because you see, some of these innovations require substantive amounts of money. Some of them, others do not. Now, you mentioned something earlier that I thought I needed to reflect on. That is that, you go to the agribusiness sector and you're struggling to find innovation. I can tell you, through this Innovations Award, we have actually found more innovation amongst the farming communities in the rural areas than any other sector. Okay. So you find cooperatives focusing on things like in indigenous irrigation. You find cooperatives coming up with plant varieties on their own, of course with support from partners, but at least they're doing something. They're thinking and creating change at their level.
Okay. We are nearing the final bend of this conversation, but I would love to pick your mind on the fact that the corporate world has increasingly adopted agriculture, but the scale is still wanting. Now, there you realize that there is a will but perhaps aspects like resources, like just talking about, could be a bit problematic. How are the corporates being...
Cooperatives, you mean?
The corporate class, the workers, the employees, how are they being co-opted into the cooperatives? You know, I don't know, it should make sense in a way that a person who has a job but is also doing agriculture as a side business knows the workings of the corporates, the cooperatives rather, so that they can be part of that ongoing campaign.
I will just speak to one example. We traversed the country and visited about 23 cooperatives across the country, and I will tell you, Uganda is quite a mixed bag. You know, the realities on the ground are so different.
All right.
And this particular one is in Bukoma and Simbi, literally where the money ends in Uganda. Chibinge. Now, what Chibinge does, they provide good agricultural practices to farmers and helping them with their lots to make sure that the yield is good and as well as the processing of the coffee is right. And what they have done is to provide management services for local farmers, some local farmers who don't understand those agricultural practices, to really bring them to top notch.
That's right.
But also there's a section of members, especially the youth who have studied and gone to Makerere and are working in Kampala, who also stay close to their roots.
That's right.
And they're working closely with the Chibinge coffee to manage their lots, to make sure that the production of coffee is good, and as well provide them with enough supply for export. So that's how these ones are getting involved. They go in, go out, go in, go out, but the day-to-day activities are supported by Chibinge coffee to make sure that productivity is as high as they get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Madam, your last word, especially on COP 360 awards.
The Innovations Award will and is promoting identity, connectivity, and competitiveness.
Okay.
And that's what we want to drive all through today and the days after. We want to congratulate the cooperatives that have come this far with the Innovations Award, and we are looking forward to the grand finale ceremony and the dinner tonight.
All right.
So for those that may not come to Sheraton, please watch and swallow saliva
and follow
nicely.
And
it's called swallowship.
All right. Thank you very much, Jane Amuge Okello, Operations Director at the Uhuru Institute for Social Development, and many thanks to you too, Daniel Bukenya, Managing Director at Goldstone Consulting, for the perspectives that you've just shared. Now, in our very last ritual, we're going to have to say happy birthday